Hey, it's Glenn Gosh with Coldwell Banker Tomlinson Associated Brokers. I'm here today talking about the housing market in Tri-Cities and addressing the topic of the housing bust, the impending doom. So this article came out in USA Today about a week ago, I guess, and I just came across it today, and I saw it circulating in a few different Facebook groups here locally, and people sharing it just on their Facebook page and stuff like that. And I want to address the article and point out some false things in it. And even if the article was completely true, it's not as terrible as they're pointing things out to be. So if you haven't seen the article yet, I'll just highlight it real quick. So the headline is "The housing boom is at risk of collapse in these four metro areas in the United States." And then one of the areas is Kennewick, Richland. So I'm not quite sure where or how they're getting these stats. It says there's some group that they got the numbers from. When you look at the National Association of Realtor stats and the local Tri-City Association of Realtor stats, they don't match up with these numbers. And then when you look at the Federal Reserve Bank numbers, they don't match up either. So I don't know how they came up with these numbers, but even if they were true, again, I'll show you how they are not as big of a deal as they're making it out to be. So quick blurb from the article here. It says the Kennewick, Richland, Washington metro area is one of just 3 nationwide where home values are now over 80% higher than they were at their highest point before the recession. After the housing bubble burst roughly a decade ago, the median home price in the area bottomed out at $125,000 in the fourth quarter of 2008. Again, those numbers are wrong. So if I'm looking at the TCAR stats here, Tri-City Association of Realtors, when I look at 2007, median sold prices, not average, but median, were, depending on the month that you look at, we're at 169, 164.5, dipped down into 150s for 1 month, but the rest of them are all 160s and 170s. So nowhere, even I went back to 2006, I didn't see it there. Year ahead, didn't see it there. Because the thing is, in Tri-Cities, if you look at the numbers, we didn't have this big dip and then back up. We were kind of like, hey, home values, and then just a little blip down, and then, kind of leveled off and then started climbing again. So I'm not sure where these people came up with their dip number on this USA Today article. But back to the article, it says, now, since then, the median home value has more than doubled, now standing at $253,000 median home price. And I actually think that number is low. Looking at the stats today, I actually came up with $280,000 as the median home price. Even with that, I'll explain a little bit on why that's not, in my opinion, that huge of a deal. So if you look historically of what home values have done on a national level, just kind of the history of real estate. I pulled up some numbers here from a variety of different sources and came up with pretty close information, pretty close matching numbers on the data. So this is from National Association of Realtors. Let me see where I'm at here. Already, there we go. So if you look just kind of decade by decade, in 1970, the average home price, some of us are going to faint here, was $23,000. Okay. Then in 1980, it was $62,200. So that was a year over year gain of 10.45%. Now, if you look at that, okay, 23,000 to 62,000, that looks like, more than a 40% gain, a 60% gain or so. Right? But you can't just take one number here and one number here. You have to look at the year over year growth as things compound and they grow or shrink each year. In this case, in the 70s to 1980, things were growing pretty rapidly for the time. So again, 10.45%. Then from 1980 to 1990, it slowed down a little bit. The year after year growth went from the value went from 62,000 to 92,000. That means a compound annual growth of 3.99%. So it slowed down a little bit. But then from 1990 to 2000, home values went up to 139.9, and with that, the compound annual growth rate was still a little over 4%, so 4.28, pretty similar to the previous decade. Then we saw a jump. So from 2000 to 2004, it went from 139.9 to 185.200. That's a 7.62% year after year growth. Okay, so hopefully I'm not putting you to sleep with numbers here, but this becomes important. So when you look at the Tri-Cities growth with that, where we are at right now, we kind of had a huge year this year. So this year got, I mean, it was crazy. Most of us know, like the past 3 years, things have grown exponentially, right? We're seeing numbers like year over year growth, like 10.8, 10.7, 9.75, depending on the year. So things are growing like at that 10% rate. And even from last year to this year, on the median price, 12%. That's pretty strong. But if you look back to 2009, so if you bought a home in 2009, and remember, through the recession, we were kind of flatlined in prices, and then we jumped up. So from 2009 to 2018, the year-over-year growth is 5.77%. That's not crazy. That's, it's good. It's not crazy. Again, looking back at previous decades, we've seen 10%, we've seen 4%, we've seen 7%. So for 2009 to 2018 to be 5.77%, not crazy. On the national median home price, from 2009 to present day, it's 4.74. So we're performing about 1% better year after year here. Again, not crazy. Nothing that's indicating to me that we're in this bust that's ready to happen. Now, could there be something? I mean, could home prices drop? Sure. I mean, could the economy take a dive a little bit? Sure. But there's no hard data right now that's pointing us to anything close to things dropping off. And then even looking at like days on market, things like that. I put together another report, and I'm going to dive into this more in another video. But I looked at average days on market for November of 2017, and the average days on market back then was 35 days. And today in 2018, November, the average days on market is 35. Same exact. So, there's a lot of speculation that things are dying down, things are cooling off, and this and that, and the numbers just don't show it yet. I mean, we are seeing it a little bit, like where these homes were getting, 10, 12 offers on them and stuff like that. We're not seeing that as much anymore, but things are still selling pretty dang quickly from a historical standpoint. So anyway, I just wanted to kind of spread the message and address what was going on in that article. Hopefully it's not scaring too many people. Feel free to share this video. I'm not trying to brand myself in it or anything like that. I have to identify who I am and who I work for, but I don't even care if you steal the video word for word and make your own video. I just want to spread the word that we're hopefully not in a housing bubble. Again, I can't predict the future or anything, but from what the data says right now, we're just not there. So thanks for watching.